Hello everyone, welcome to Chelsea Sport Focus. But before we dive in, make sure to subscribe so you never miss a moment of breaking news. Let's get started.
The dawn of a new star, how Moises Caicedo and Jamie Gittins embraced Estevao Willian's emotional Chelsea arrival. The countdown had long begun. 4 months, Chelsea fans worldwide had waited with mounting anticipation to welcome the prodigious Brazilian wonder kid, Estevao Willian, affectionately nicknamed Messinho, back in his homeland. His reputation was already that of a rising star destined to shine brightly in the footballing sky, and now, as August 4th rolled around, he was finally set to walk through the gates of Cobham and begin his life in West London. But long before he touched down in the UK, Estevao had already captured the hearts of his soon-to-be teammates and supporters alike. Back in April 2024, Chelsea had sealed a £29 million deal with Palmeiras, an amount that could skyrocket to £51 million with performance-based add-ons. But it wasn't just the price tag that made headlines, it was the commitment to a long-term vision. Chelsea had made it clear, Estevao was not just a signing for the present, he was the foundation of the club's attacking future. That future took a surreal turn when Estevao faced off against Chelsea at the FIFA Club World Cup in July. Palmeiras met the Blues in the quarter-final in Philadelphia. For Estevao, it was a chance to show what he could do against European competition. He didn't disappoint. Scoring against what would soon be his new club, the 18-year-old dazzled under the lights with flair, pace, and a creativity that stunned defenders and electrified fans. Though Chelsea emerged as 2-1 victors and went on to win the tournament, Estevao had done more than enough to leave a lasting impression. Behind the scenes, there was already a buzz. Enzo Marresca, freshly installed as Chelsea's manager, was impressed. The players were curious. And some, like Moises Caicedo and young Jamie Gittins, were watching very closely. As the pre-season drew closer, Estevao broke his silence. With humility in heart, he posted a deeply emotional farewell message on Instagram, accompanied by a touching video. Speaking in Portuguese, the Brazilian teen thanked Palmeiras for shaping him, gave insight into his tight-knit family, and shared the dream he was living, to play in one of the biggest leagues in the world, for one of its most ambitious clubs. "I love playing football," he wrote. "And everything I'm living right now feels like a dream. After writing a beautiful story at Palmeiras, getting the chance to live this moment and play in the biggest leagues in the world is something I'll be forever grateful to God for." The heartfelt post was paired with a Bible verse from Romans 12 verse 12, "Be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, faithful in prayer." For many, it was just a verse. But for Estevao, it was a reflection of his path, from the streets of Franca to the pitch of Stamford Bridge. The post went viral. Over 182,000 likes poured in. But what caught Chelsea fans' attention most were two specific names who hit the heart button, Moises Caicedo and Jamie Gittins. This was more than a digital gesture. Caicedo, the Ecuadorian midfield engine, had walked a similar path from South America to European football. He knew the pressures. He knew the weight of expectation. And now, he was quietly endorsing Estevao, welcoming him not just to Chelsea but into the brotherhood of players who've had to leave home to chase greatness. Jamie Gittins, the 20-year-old winger, is one of Chelsea's most exciting English prospects. By liking Estevao's post, he too extended a hand of friendship and support, a young talent recognizing another. For fans, it was a signal. This squad, despite its youth, was already coming together around the next jewel in Chelsea's crown. And Chelsea fans were eager to see what this jewel could do. Pre-season officially kicks off on August 4th, and while Marresca is expected to ease Estevao into the squad gradually, the schedule offers perfect opportunities for a soft debut. Chelsea will face Bayer Leverkusen on August 8th and then AC Milan on August 10th, both at Stamford Bridge. And even though these are friendlies, all eyes will be on whether Estevao gets his first minutes in a blue shirt. The stakes are high. Expectations even higher. But Estevao arrives not as a savior, but as a new chapter in Chelsea's ongoing evolution, a shift toward youth, promise, and South American flair. For Estevao, this journey began in the dusty fields of Brazil, refined through the youth academy of Palmeiras, sharpened in the fire of continental tournaments, and now, it leads to the Premier League. But with support from his teammates, family, and faith, he walks into Stamford Bridge not alone, but with the hopes of a new generation of Chelsea fans. And maybe, just maybe, with the same excitement and promise that once followed the arrivals of the likes of Eden Hazard and Oscar, Estevao Willian is poised to write his own beautiful story in blue. The €27.5 million gamble Chelsea are now ready to cash in on, the untold story of Leslie Ugochukwu's inevitable exit. When Leslie Ugochukwu arrived at Chelsea from Rennes for a reported €27.5 million in the summer of 2023, eyebrows were raised, not because of a lack of talent, but because of the increasingly puzzling web of recruitment strategies being woven at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea had once again flexed their financial muscle, bringing in a young, athletic, ball-playing midfielder with raw potential and high upside. Ugochukwu, then 19, was seen as a player who could develop into a key squad member over time. But in the whirlwind of Todd Boehly's recruitment drive, Leslie's narrative has gone from promising project to expendable asset in just over a year. Now, Chelsea are working behind the scenes to recoup their investment as they look to move the Frenchman on permanently. A quiet summer? On the surface. While Chelsea's transfer window has been anything but quiet, deals for Mark Guiu, Omari Kellerman, Kenan Dewsbury-Hall, and talks with top targets like Xavi Simons and Samu Omorogyan dominating the headlines, the story of Leslie Ugochukwu has remained tucked beneath the surface. No explosive rumors, no front-page speculation, no agents feeding updates to Fabrizio Romano. But make no mistake, talks are happening. As reported by Matt Law of the Daily Telegraph on the London is Blue podcast, Chelsea are quietly confident that Ugochukwu will be sold before the window shuts. "I don't have a club for you," Law admitted candidly. "But I'm told there's an expectation that he will leave permanently. They expect to sell him rather than loan him at this stage." Those words are significant. At a time when most young players are offered loan moves to boost their development and value, Chelsea have apparently already made their decision. Ugochukwu, at just 20 years old, will be sold outright. Why sell so soon? So why are Chelsea moving on from a player they spent €27.5 million on just a year ago? The answer lies in the structure and chaos of their midfield. Leslie's arrival was already overshadowed by the signings of Moises Caicedo and Romeo Lavia, both of whom were considered higher priority investments in the defensive midfield role. Add Enzo Fernandez to the mix, plus the emergence of Andre Santos and the purchase of Dewsbury-Hall, and suddenly Ugochukwu finds himself eighth in line for 2 or 3 midfield spots. Then there's the injury curse. Ugochukwu's Chelsea debut season was plagued by muscle injuries and inconsistent game time. His loan to Southampton was intended to bring regular minutes, but even there he failed to cement a starting spot. It's not that he was bad, on the contrary, he showed glimpses of athleticism, composure, and defensive reading. But Chelsea are no longer in a position to wait on development. Financial fair play, FFP, pressures are mounting, and Todd Boehly's strategy of flipping young players to create profit margins is now in full effect. In that light, Leslie becomes one of the easier exits to execute: young, Premier League experience, resale value, and no emotional strings attached. Who could sign him? Though no names have surfaced publicly, the Premier League is likely the destination. A host of mid-table clubs, Crystal Palace, Fulham, Brentford, Everton, Wolves, are all in need of dynamic midfield depth. Even newly promoted sides like Ipswich Town or Leicester could take a look. Leslie Ugochukwu fits the mold: 6 feet 2 inches, physical, capable on the ball, with experience in both League One and the Premier League. Despite his limited appearances, he has qualities that can't be taught: positional awareness, a natural engine, and calm under pressure. Chelsea are believed to be willing to negotiate creatively. While they want to recoup close to their €27.5 million investment, sources suggest they may accept a lower upfront fee combined with performance bonuses, add-ons, and a sell-on clause to protect future upside. Back in June, whispers emerged that La Liga side Valencia and 2. Bundesliga team Hamburg had shown interest. But financial constraints likely rule them out unless a loan with obligation to buy is agreed. The Bundesliga and League One could also be dark horse destinations, but it's the English market that offers Chelsea the best chance of extracting value. A familiar Chelsea story. Ugochukwu's story is not an outlier, it's the latest in a long line of quick flips and shifting valuations at Cobham. Cesare Casadei, Andre Santos, and even Carney Chukwuemeka have felt the instability of Chelsea's new regime. In the past, Leslie might have been allowed 2 or 3 seasons to develop. Under Boehly's project, however, every player is an asset, and every asset has a shelf life if they don't explode into the first team immediately. The final stretch. As the final weeks of the summer window approach, expect Ugochukwu's name to appear more frequently. Clubs are finalizing their squads, and Chelsea are actively marketing him behind the scenes. Don't be surprised if he's the next departure after the likes of Lewis Hall, Angelo Gabriel, and Omari Hutchinson. All part of a grander puzzle that's becoming increasingly focused on short-term turnover. Leslie Ugochukwu's Chelsea chapter looks like it's closing, not with controversy, not with